Hey, what's going on everyone, this is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 16 and more particularly on iOS 16.4 and also iOS 16.5. Now it looks like this is the end of iOS 16 and we're going to talk about why that is in this video, and of course way more things that you need to know regarding iOS 16 and the future of iOS. Now first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at some more new features that we have been able to discover on iOS 16.4, which is currently on beta 2. First of all, we got a new security update. So security updates are a thing that Apple is doing now, so they don't have to release an iOS update, but just security updates, which are really small updates that will fix security bugs, of course. And you can see right here, we have 16.4a. That's the latest update to iOS 16.4. And now let's move on and take a look at some of the new features that we have been able to discover on the latest iOS 16.4 update. First of all, head on to your settings, general, and then under language and region right here, when you go to number format, now you have the chance to change the number format here, so you will have 3 different choices. Apple is doing a lot with the Shortcuts app on iOS 16.4. A ton of new actions have been added, and we're going to talk about some of them in this video. But first of all, let's take a look at this right here. When you go to change the icon of one of your shortcuts, you will see here that this has been rearranged. You will see like different categories that have been added here, and of course a bunch of other like different icons which have, like you can see right here, text formatting, commerce, editing, and all those have been basically recategorized with iOS 16.4. There are some really useful new actions that Apple has added to iOS 16.4 on the Shortcuts app, and one of them is the ability to lock the device. So by going here, you can create a shortcut that will lock your iPhone. Well, this is really great, and it will be even better when you use it to actually run it using an automation. So you will have different scenarios in which you can use this shortcut combined with an automation to actually lock your device at any time you want using an automation. Another one that has been added with iOS 16.4 is set always on display. So again, you can create this shortcut to simply turn on or turn off the always on display, or you can use here the toggle button. So you'd use the same shortcut to turn it on and off, and again, combined with automations, you can create some pretty cool stuff. And we have another one here to set AirDrop receiving. Tapping there, you will have the option to switch here between contacts and everyone for 10 minutes. This is also a new action added to the Shortcuts app with iOS 16.4. And there's also a new look here for a successful payment. So you will get a new screen here, new design when you make a successful payment using the Apple Pay. The Music app on iOS 16.4 will make it for you really easy to find your profile, because wherever you go on the Music app on the new update, you will find right there at the top a toggle to basically go to your profile. Another thing that has been found on iOS 16.4, which is not a feature available yet, but it has been found on the code of iOS 16.4, are lock screen widgets for the Contacts app. So probably with the release of iOS 16.4, or maybe even later, we don't know if Apple will release this feature. There are a lot of features that have been found on codes that haven't made it out yet. Maybe this will be on iOS 17, but this should be Contacts widget for the lock screen of your device. And now let's move on and talk about something really interesting, which I did talk about on a previous video, but I think I just overlooked it, and it actually might be a really strong hint that new icons are coming to iOS, and very likely with iOS 17. So don't expect any major changes, but taking a look at the icons right here under the advanced data protection, you can see that we have here the same exact icons as on macOS. Basically the icons with a 3D look, and you can see here messages, and of course these ones for the device backup and iCloud don't have that effect, but all the other ones do. So these don't look much like 3D like this one does, but that's just due to the design of the icon, but they are exactly the same as the ones on macOS, and you can see right here, you can notice even the Safari icon right there. So this is a really strong hint, which I believe is basically hinting us that new icons will come to iOS 17. Probably we will have an option to choose between the classic icons, and of course these icons right here with the 3D look. You can see these are basically just ported icons that you can take a look here and see how they would actually look like on the iPhone. These are ported from macOS. You can see an example here of how they look, and of course how different they look from the normal icons that we currently have on iOS 16. As you can see on the title of this video, I believe iOS 16.4 will be the end of iOS 16. We're getting very close to the release of iOS 17 Beta 1, and we currently have also a report regarding the release to the public of iOS 16.4, which according to Mark Gurman, which is a very trusted source, will happen in April. So that pushes a bit the release of iOS 16.4. We was hoping for a March release, but it won't happen. It will actually happen in April, and that leaves just 2 months for the release of iOS 17 Beta 1. And we currently also have tracks of iOS 16.5, which is currently being tested by Apple. So that means that we will get also iOS 16.5 probably sometime in May. So what I think it is that iOS 16.4 is of course a great update, and it's actually quite big with a lot of features and everything that Apple talked about at WWDC 2022. All the features have made it. The only ones that we haven't seen yet being released on iOS 16 are Apple Pay Later and also Apple Music Classical, which is a new app that has been basically discovered on the code of iOS 16, but it hasn't made it out yet. So with those two features, which might actually come with iOS 16.5 if they don't with iOS 16.4, I believe iOS 16 is done and we're moving on to iOS 17. That's probably how it's gonna happen, and of course what we have to expect next from iOS 16. So seeing Apple releasing so many new features with 16.4, I believe they're done with features, and iOS 16.5 probably will be a way smaller update. So what we're looking at in terms of release, so I would expect actually iOS 16.4 to be released to the public somewhere at the first half of April. Even though we know it's in April, we don't have an exact date, but we currently are on beta 2, so I believe we should see another 2, maybe 3 betas and the RC version before we see the release to the public somewhere here in the first 2 weeks of April, and then most likely somewhere around mid to end May we will see the release of iOS 16.5. Again, it has been shown that it is being tested by Apple, so that is coming probably sometime in May, and then we should see around here the first week of June, of course. Probably it will be the 5th of June when we will see the first beta of iOS 17, which again leads me to believe that due to the awesome circumstances, iOS 17 and of course the new AR headset Apple is doing and the OS that they need to build for it, I'm pretty sure they have done anything they had to do with iOS 16, so we don't expect to see any major new features or changes coming to iOS 16. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you want to be updated with the latest iOS 16 and 17 news, make sure to subscribe and of course hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.